looking for some more information, and
Yeah.
I was just surprised that he had so many cases that were unsolved, and
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Do you know? I found out something today.
what
You know,
was
we were
it?
talking earlier about we thought the Zodiac case was closed.
Right, I
It's
thought
not
so too.
closed. It's open. They reopened it.
When did they do that?
2007.
Oh my gosh, I thought they were going to be
Yeah.
considering to close it.
2007. They reopened the case. I can't even believe it. You know, I you would think I'm nuts. I called the San Francisco Police Department today. I did. Honest to God.
What did
I
they
talked.
say?
I did. Well, I talked to the Media Relations Department
Hmm.
and to see if I could get somebody on the show, to talk about it. And they said they would love to, but they need a little bit more notice than one day.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was too soon.
You would
Well,
think they want to
listen,
talk.
Amelia, you ready to get this show on the road?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Okay, we're going to get this thing. How about everybody? Just
Yes.
get this thing started with us. What do you say?
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion.
Hello, everybody. It's Thursday night, and we ask that ever-present question, what's the buzz?
Yes.
Amelia,
Hello,
that's
how are you
your
doing?
line. You're supposed to say what's
Yeah, I
the buzz.
know. You took that from me.
You little stinker. How you doing, kid?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. Listen, we got a hell of a show tonight.
We sure do.
We got a really, really important show tonight. We are in the second show of a 12-episode series about notorious unsolved murders. And tonight, you saw Tuesday night we did JonBenet Ramsey.
Yes.
Tonight, the infamous Zodiac Killer. And in case you don't know, I am the Mad Dog, Angelo Mad Dog Decipio, along with Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. We are a regular dog pound around here, the Mad Dog and the Pitbull. And tonight we are going to discuss this fascinating case. And Amelia, you and I talked about it off camera a little bit. It's a fascinating case of a man who claimed to have killed 37 people.
Yes.
But
shocked.
they found 5.
Yes.
That he actually did. The question you ask yourself is he bragging, or is he telling the truth, or is he lying completely? I happen to think, this is just the way my mind operates, I happen to think that he's telling the truth.
I would say yes.
Yeah. Here's the thing about serial killers, especially. They're very proud of their work. And they know exactly how many people they killed. Ted Bundy could tell you how many people he killed. The BTK killer could tell you how many people he killed. All of them. Jack the Ripper could tell you how many people he killed. But for some reason, perhaps it's arrogance. Perhaps it's not wanting to be showed up. But the San Francisco Police Department were kind of baffled by this case. They had this guy who was incredibly bright, very smart, who actually outwitted them for quite a while. In fact, so much so that the case is still open today.
Really?
And yeah, it's open in Vallejo, California, in Benicia, California, Napa County, San Francisco, in Napa County proper, San Francisco proper. You have to remember something. Nobody was ever brought to justice for the Zodiac killing. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about it. Let's read what's on our screen. The Zodiac Killer was, or is, we have to say it this way,
yes,
because we don't know if he's still alive. The Zodiac killer was or is an unidentified American serial killer who is believed, we think, believed to have murdered at least 5 people in Northern California between 1968 and 69. An earlier murder, the stabbing of an 18-year-old college student in Riverside, California in 1966, is also sometimes attributed to the Zodiac as perhaps his first killing. The case inspired the 1971 action film Dirty Harry, starring Clint Eastwood, and it was the subject of a critically acclaimed film by David Fincher called Zodiac in 2007. That starred Jake Gyllenhaal and Robert Downey Jr., and if you haven't seen it, it's a hell of a movie.
Yes.
Much remains mysterious about the Zodiac case, not the least of which is the crimes stopped in 1974, 75. They stopped.
Yes.
Nothing, no word of it. No inkling of a crime, not a clue of a crime happening, nothing. No Zodiac. He wasn't writing any more notes. He wasn't calling and taunting the police or the television station. Crime writer Robert Graysmith argued that the Zodiac killer remained active also through the 1980s. During the 90s, several investigators claimed to have identified the Zodiac killer. The suspect most often cited, and you and I have talked about this, is Arthur Leigh Allen, born in 1933, died in 1992, a Vallejo, California school teacher who had he'd been institutionalized in 1975 for child molestation. Though his identification with the Zodiac killer has never been substantiated, Arthur Leigh Allen died with the Zodiac secrets. Why do I say that? I happen to believe, and we've talked about this before, I happen to believe that Arthur Leigh Allen was the Zodiac killer. Now, that's what I think. What do you say to this, Amelia? What are your thoughts?
I think that with a lot of the proof, the police did have that substantial evidence. And also with that evidence, they were very close in getting him. But of course, he died before they could question him. And they had more proof of that.
Do you know that they actually had him in custody?
I knew of one time, but did you?
Yeah, and they let him go.
Oh my
They let him
goodness.
go.
Why would they do that? Oh my goodness.
Well, think about why they would do that. It's kind of interesting. Hey, our buddy Jimmy Thunder from Down Under.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Jimmy, we're talking about the Zodiac killer, Jimmy. MD and PB, that's Mad Dog and Pitbull.
I like him.
I love this guy. Jimmy's one of our regulars from. By the way, guys like Jimmy made us #1 in New Zealand.
We love Jimmy.
Absolutely. So, Amelia, it's an interesting, to say the least, it's an interesting case. They did, in fact, have Arthur Leigh Allen in custody. I guess he answered all the questions the way they wanted to hear, and they let him go. But when he died, interesting stuff started to surface. Because when he died, they went through his house. And it's with his family's permission, by the way. So go ahead.
Wow.
You know? They had nothing to hide. They didn't know, right?
No
Come
warrant?
to find out, what did they find? Knives.
What?
Guns. Rope. They found the Zodiac hood. In his garage.
I'm speechless.
Wait a minute. They even found notes in there that matched the handwriting of the Zodiac. But there's one problem. What's the problem, Pitbull?
He's dead?
Exactly. How do you prosecute a dead guy?
Exactly.
He's dead, yeah. How do you prosecute a dead guy? It's hard to do. It's extremely difficult
My
to
goodness.
prosecute a dead guy. So tell everybody about the Zodiac case.
My
from 1968 to what we know now. Tell everybody, give everybody a heads up.
well, my understanding was that he was taxi cab drivers that were pretty much lonely men, and of course couples. He couples that were just barely young couples,
Yeah,
basically. And
very young
I don't
teenagers.
understand though why he singled out young women. I don't know if he was wanting to single out young women that maybe he was a young child that did had a single mother, maybe.
I have a suggestion,
Hmm.
and then I'll throw it back to you.
Okay.
I thought about that too.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing: he singled cab drivers because they work by themselves.
Mhm.
Young couples, why? Because they're innocent. Again, thinking about this, if Arthur Leigh Allen was the Zodiac, it makes perfect sense, absolutely perfect sense to why would you single couples. Think about what he did for a living. He was a school teacher. He probably saw young boys and girls holding hands in the hallway in school, going from one class to the next. You know, you're smiling because you used to do that too, probably
Probably.
at one point.
Can't tell my mom.
I won't tell your mother, you know. But here's the thing, though, and so it's really it's an interesting point to talk about. We can actually have a conversation about it. That the Zodiac chose people that were vulnerable. He also, it seems like he had like every motive under the sun. But here's the thing: he singled out young couples, single men, but also single young men, not just cab drivers. Although he did kill a couple cab drivers too. Um, what would his motive be for killing a cab driver? Some poor schlo just trying to make a living, you know?
Right.
Like, why would you do that? I had thought about that, and something hit me. Kill a cab driver, you take his money.
Yes. But
You
there
kill.
was no robbery.
Well, yeah, and that's the interesting thing about it.
Yeah.
No, there was never any money taken. He never took their driver's license, never took their wallet. He never took a dime.
No.
He did it for the thrill, I think, for the thrill of the hunt, you know?
Yes.
And it's kind of makes you wonder like the mindset of the serial killer, which by the way, you and I are going to have a doctor come on the show soon. Not tonight, but in during this series, we're going to have a doctor come on the show and talk about the mindset of the serial killer. And that doctor will be an incredible asset in understanding the way a killer's mind works. Like, is it wired the same way as your mind and my mind, or is it like short circuited somehow?
Could be
You
in a
know,
way
what are
twisted.
your thoughts? I mean, do you think that the Zodiac was like short circuited, or do you think he was a genius?
Well, it could work both ways. I mean, if it
Well,
was the
yeah, but
one.
what is your? I'm trying to get like to the heart of this here. Like, what do you really think?
I mean, I believe that maybe something was messed up in his childhood, and he was looking for attention. And because, I mean, if it was
Mhm.
supposedly, the evidence does point to the school teacher, but what I don't understand is the women were not sexually assaulted, and none of them, from what I
Thank you for
understand.
bringing that up, and
Yes,
that's something that is fascinating.
exactly.
Fascinating, because here is the thing: Arthur Leigh Allen, the prime suspect as the Zodiac, never sexually assaulted an adult.
Never.
But, but, again, we put a disclaimer at the beginning of the show for this reason. But Arthur Leigh Allen was a convicted child rapist.
Yes.
The lowest of the low. The worst of the worst. And there's nothing worse in the world than a child rapist. Somebody who preys on kids. Those are the kind of people you want to take them out back and you want to do very bad things to them.
Skin them alive.
That's too good.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
too good. That's too good. The interesting thing, though, is no one was ever sexually assaulted. They were killed. They were
Correct.
tortured. That and eventually, tortured and murdered, or just outright killed and done with, but never sexually assaulted. And robbery was never a motive.
No.
This guy seemed to really enjoy killing people.
Yes, he did.
Let's talk about what happened in this case. It's an incredibly fascinating and complex case. This case garnered national attention for two reasons. Number one, the media was directly involved in this case. Directly involved. The Zodiac wrote letters to the newspapers. You got to remember what the time of our lifetime we're talking about. The 1960s, 68, 69, newspapers were still like how people got their news. Well, yes, they got their news from watching television too, but everybody had a newspaper in their hand. And newspaper companies like the San Francisco Chronicle, they were doing big business. They were pushing out millions of newspapers a year. Millions. The gutsy thing about, I'm laughing because I know where I'm going with this. The gutsy thing about the Zodiac is he called the newspapers. He called them. He called the television stations. And he did something else. He wrote them letters.
Mm-hmm.
The Zodiac letters. We're going to see some tonight.
Yes.
There's something else that people don't know about the Zodiac. To prove he was the Zodiac. Because the newspaper didn't believe him. They said, well, how do we know you're the Zodiac? He said, I'm going to kill someone tonight, and I'm going to send you their foot.
Oh my gosh.
And he did. He killed someone, cut their foot off, and sent it to the newspaper in a box.
Oh my gosh.
Can't make this up. Go online if you think I'm lying.
Oh.
Can't make it up. You can't make this up. I keep telling people, Amelia, you hear me tell people every week you can't make this up.
No, to look it up, and we do, and it's right there.
There you go.
And we show proof every week.
It just, again, we mentioned this at the beginning of the show, that the Zodiac case inspired at least 5 movies that we know about.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty Harry with Clint Eastwood. The Zodiac Killer with Robert Urich, the late Robert Urich. Zodiac with Jake Gyllenhaal and Robert Downey Jr. And another film was done for television called The Case of the Zodiac.
Yes, that's the one I was going to look up for you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, The Case of the Zodiac. But there's been numerous books written, hundreds and thousands of articles written, and a half a dozen or so really good movies. We talked about, at the beginning of the show, we talked about motive. No one has ever come up with a clear-cut motive. So what in your, you work in the forensic field, you work, with doctors and you work with patients. So there's a level of expertise you bring to this. So what would you think the motive would be? For example, when somebody calls you up at your job
Hmm.
You know that they have a motive because they want you to do something for them.
Exactly.
Well, what's the motive of the Zodiac? What could they do for him?
Basically, he wanted attention and he wanted his little 15 minutes of fame. But from what I saw from the letters, he wanted
Yeah.
to have his little slaves in the afterlife.
Yeah. Well,
Basically, that's what he wanted. But
yeah.
basically, he wanted attention, and I think he didn't have it when he was young. And it has to be something with his childhood. It has to be, from what I understand, it's
It's
psychology field.
it really it's a mind blowing case. We could do probably 3 or 4 shows just on the Zodiac,
And could have been his
and
marriage. You never know.
yeah, we may actually do that.
Yes.
The other thing is we got to talk about some of the suspects. We've been talking about Arthur Leigh Allen.
Yes.
That's one person of many
Many, many.
that were suspects of the Zodiac. So, Amelia, tell everybody some of the other people, and you've done some research, some
Right.
of the other people that were named as suspects as
Well,
Zodiac.
I know one of them they had, but they ruled him out was Ted Bundy because they had a lot of suspects like that. They had Ted Bundy as one of them, and I know that they had quite a bit of people. And let's see, who else was it that they had? Ray Davis is actually one of them, which was one of
Ray,
the actual.
I'm glad you mentioned Ray. Ray
Yes.
Davis was a really interesting
Hmm.
character.
Yes, and they said that he had been one of them. And from what I
Yeah,
looked at his mugshot, I mean, his it looked like a mugshot, but when
yeah.
they took a picture of him, I was just dumbfounded. I was
Well,
like,
yeah.
"Oh
Well,
my
we're going to
gosh!"
see a picture of Ray Davis tonight.
Yes, and when
Do
I
you
looked at
have
it,
that? Remember, you
yes,
showed me the picture.
yes.
Do you have
You
that?
want to
Show
see it?
everybody that picture.
I don't know if you can see it
Hold it
because
up
of
to
my
your
light.
camera.
I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of like really bright. Can you see it
Perfect,
right
right there.
there?
Perfect, right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, it looks
That's
like a
Ray
mugshot.
Davis. You're going to see Ray Davis. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can put that
it
down.
looks like a mugshot, but when I saw that, it kind of looked like a mugshot to me at first, and I thought that can't be right because it looks like a mugshot to me.
Well, it was a mugshot. It is.
It was, so
Yeah.
it was right.
Yeah, it was a mugshot. Absolutely.
Oh my
That's
gosh!
a police photograph you're holding, by the way.
Well, that's
Yeah.
actually funny because he's the cab driver. He's one of the cab drivers.
Well, that's what they talked about. They thought.
Mm-hmm.
Here again. Here's the theories. I listen. Okay, you ain't the only one that did research, kiddo. Okay, see this Zodiac
Yes.
right there. Okay,
Look at that big print.
here's the. I had to make it big so I could read it. I can't see shit. I can't. My eyes are so. Plus, I'm an old fart. Okay,
No, you're
here's the
not.
thing. That was the big thing. They thought it was another cab driver.
Yes.
They thought it was a cab driver preying on young couples at Lover's
Mhm.
Lane.
Yes.
Because, like, why would a cab be parked at Lover's Lane?
Right.
Unless he went there, he went there to go have fun by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, he went there to meet up with a prostitute and have some fun with someone else. Number three, he went up there to get his jollies off and see young people making out. Or he just like to
I'm like,
kill people.
okay.
I know it's like you can go like, which way do I want to go with this? Because I can
It's like,
go,
all right, here we go.
I can go a half a dozen directions with this. It's
Right.
crazy. It really is. Why
And
don't
there
we
was,
take a look at some pictures?
okay.
Let's do it's 20 after 7. Let's do show
Okay.
and tell. Let's take a look at this.
Oh my goodness. That's scary.
Yeah, let's show everybody that again.
Ugh.
This is the hood they found in Arthur Leigh Allen's garage.
That
Of
looked
course,
like
this is a drawing of it, but you're going to see the real hood in a few frames.
that looked like a gas mask.
Yeah. Take a look at that face because you're going to see it again.
Yes.
This was the first, I think this was the very first
Mm-hmm.
picture of like an eyewitness picture of the Zodiac. And the code next to, and by the way, it took them a long time to decipher the code. They had to bring in experts from the FBI that, like, code readers
Mm-hmm.
that do this kind of stuff, because nobody knew what the hell they were looking at.
That kind of looks like satanic writing, if you or some kind of different writing like that.
It's military code is what it is.
Really?
Yeah, it's military code.
Hmm.
It's called cryptic code. It actually not cryptic, encrypted. It's
Okay.
called encrypted code. In other words, they look like a bunch of symbols and letters and numbers. To us, it just looks like a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
Right.
But to someone reading that, they know what they're reading, because it's kind of like it goes up and down, diagonal, side to side. It goes on angles. You can read this any number of ways.
Oh, wow.
Now, again, you saw a picture. I want you to take another look at that wanted poster.
Yes.
Okay. The guy whose photograph is there.
Uh-huh.
Can you match him up to either of those two pictures? Because they look like very different pictures to me.
Right. Well, it looks like he's more on the left one with the wrinkles on the left one.
The picture on the right, to me,
Mm-hmm.
looks like the man in that photograph.
The one with the more wrinkles?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one on the left looks like Arthur Leigh Allen.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see his picture in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, that's not Arthur Leigh Allen, that picture. That's a cab driver.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. This is the Zodiac speaking. I am still out here in Creek, whatever that means, in Creek Proof, whatever that means.
Yeah, I think that's what it
It says, I want you to know about my latest slaves that I have collected. About 2 weeks ago, up by Sacramento, California. I will give you a clue to help you with the mystery. Now, to show you how smart this guy was, he already knows that he's ahead of the police, but he's going to help them to find him. Even with him to help, because he's wanting to get caught. He wants them to catch him. But they're too stupid to understand that hey, man, I'm helping you find me. I want you guys to throw me away because my life is miserable here. He's a guy, whoever he was a guy who could not function in society, but did very, very well in jail. Like, he was a jailhouse leader.
I see.
Like Arthur Leigh Allen. Okay. Capiche?
Yes.
Okay. Like Ray Davis. Okay. The blue meanies almost caught me. Caught me.
Almost.
The body count is growing now 100 plus all over the state of California and Nevada. He wrote that. That's his right? His writing there.
The blue meanies is kind of funny.
The blue meanies is
the cops.
Is the cops. By the way, going back to our wrestling background, that's where the blue meanie got his name from.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. People don't know that. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
We talk about the killer. Now we got to talk about the victims.
Yes.
Okay. Paul Stein, the gentleman with the glasses and mustache, the lower right-hand side. Yeah. Paul was a cab driver. Next to Paul is Cecilia Shepard. She was a high school student. So was Darlene Ferrin, the young lady on the bottom to the left. Up top, Sherry Jo Bates was also a student. David Faraday was the date of Betty Lou Jensen.
Bailey Jensen, yes.
Yeah, they were killed together. And actually, she was killed first, and he was made to watch.
Yes.
And they were all under the age of 20,
Yes.
except for Paul Stein, the cab driver. He is a guy who thrived on fear. He loved to scare people. He loved to humiliate people. Understanding, though, that with no clear understanding of who he is or who he was free to do whatever the hell he wanted. And he did.
Yes.
Without much, stopping him. So, hey, sports fans here. Okay. How you doing there? My friend, Kevin. I think that's Kevin, right? Sports fan. Is that Kevin?
I believe
Kevin's
so.
here tonight. Okay, cool.
And that would be Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartwell.
That is exactly who that is. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Good. You did your homework tonight.
And Brian actually survived.
Okay. This is an actual picture.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it very, very carefully, what they are doing is overlaying the artist drawing over top of this actual picture. And guess what? Surprise, surprise.
Perfect match.
It's perfect match. But guess what? It's not Arthur Leigh Allen. And it's not Ray Davis. And nobody knows who this man is. You may very well be looking at the face of the Zodiac. There's one problem, though. His handwriting didn't match the note.
And the fingerprints?
So that led some people to believe that, Amelia, again, you've heard this before, it led some people to believe that maybe there was more than one person acting as the Zodiac. Tell everybody about that aspect of the case.
Yeah, it could be they had, like you said, they had different suspects as well. There was a Gary Francis Post as well that they had also as a suspect.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, the thing that I'm getting at here is that
fingerprints.
Yeah. Well, not just fingerprint. Yeah, that was a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand too, and people watching this need to really understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Police forensic work was in its infancy. There was no DNA collection.
None.
They didn't know what DNA was. Well, they knew what DNA was, but they had no way of using
properly collecting it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Today, from your blood, they could one drop of blood can tell them everything they need to know.
Yes.
Okay?
Well, just like the TV show Dexter, the way he does the forensics, the way they show it, the way they have it splattered like this, he could tell you the way the person was standing when over
yeah,
you.
absolutely.
The way, if it was a knife, how he was standing over you. Back then, they didn't know how they were standing over you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, interesting. Watch this. Okay. That photo you just saw was being overlaid on that picture.
Oh.
Again, there's the picture. There's 8 victims. Okay. We already know that there were more than 5. They claimed 5 in the police department. I don't know about you, but I'm looking at 8 people right now.
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, the gentleman on the right-hand side on the very bottom with the dark hair, that's Ray Davis. There's Ray Davis. Ray Davis is a cab driver. Ray Davis also had, a hell of a life story. He had a rough life. Okay. Arthur Leigh Allen, we've heard his name a lot tonight. That's Arthur Leigh Allen. That is his You're looking at his handwriting on his driver's license, okay? California driver's license. Take a good look at his face because you're going to see the many changing faces of Arthur Leigh Allen. Now, look at them two pictures. Guess what? It's the same guy.
What?
1967 on the left, 1978 on the right. It's the same guy. Or so they say. What do you say to that? Is
I
it the same guy?
no.
Or are we looking at two different people here?
Two different people.
You think so?
Absolutely, two
What would
different people.
if I were to tell you that you are absolutely looking at Arthur Leigh Allen?
But which
One
one?
person.
Really?
That is the one and the same. Yep. Those pictures are 11 years apart.
Wow.
He had lost weight and grown a beard. Why would he do that?
Identity.
Yeah,
So nobody recognize him.
exactly. There is Arthur Leigh Allen. That's the picture you just saw
Wow.
in color.
But right here, he looks like Italian, Hispanic, kind of.
Exactly.
The other one, he looked more Caucasian.
Okay, now you're looking at three people. You're looking at two people and a sketch.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Look at the sketch in the middle. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the photo in the middle.
Uh-huh.
That's a picture. Okay. Right next to it is the artist's drawing. It's pretty spot on, isn't it?
Absolutely spot on.
Okay. Then look at the guy on the end. They're trying to tell you that all these three persons are the same people. I don't think so.
don't see it.
I
see-
don't see it either. And
Mm-mm.
and I want to know how far apart the end picture is from the middle picture. Because the sketch is just a sketch.
Yes,
It doesn't tell you much unless you know what you're looking at. But that
exactly.
looks like two different people.
It is exactly two different people.
Okay. This is the printing. This is the Zodiac's printing. Okay. He sent this letter to someone named Tom Voigt. I had to find out who Tom Voigt was. Tom Voigt was a reporter.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now you're looking at David Faraday.
Yes.
Also this young lady here again. Amelia, what was her name?
One of the victims?
The woman that you're looking at.
Let's see. That was the victim that he had. What was her name?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Let's see. What was the victim? I gotta go back to the files there. His victim, his girlfriend, or lady friend, I should say, because I wouldn't say girlfriend back at the time, because they had that. Let's see. Let me go back to the forensic files here that we had. It was let's see, Betty Lou Jensen.
Okay, gotcha.
Betty Lou Jensen. Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You see that Zodiac hood?
Yes.
They found that in Arthur Leigh Allen's garage. You can't make this stuff up.
That was
because they had a television crew there when they found it. Even though they had a television crew, and you can't make this up. You can say, Angelo, you're full of shit. I promise you. Honestly, I promise you I'm not. You can look this stuff up online. Go on YouTube. They found this stuff. They were there with a TV crew. All right, now, Miss Amelia, detective. Yes. Put your detective hat on. Are we looking at the same guy?
Let's see. Well, if we was to say back then, if he had hair, the eyes look the same. Maybe.
That you just mentioned one of the problems. Hair.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned one of the problems. The photo on the right has no hair except around the side.
Exactly.
The sketch has a full head of hair.
Red hair too.
A red hair, a ginger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Arthur Leigh Allen was not a ginger.
No.
And I want people. Oh, here we go. I'm going to go back a second.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to look at this wanted poster. They are two different people on that poster.
Because look at the hairline as well.
Thank you. Look at the hairline. They're two different people. And look at the chin, the nose, the ears, the mouth, the eyes. They're not the same guy.
And glasses are different in a way.
And the glasses are very different.
Mm-hmm.
One is squared off, one is rounded. Two different people. All right, that's Arthur Leigh Allen. At the time this picture was taken, he was on dialysis. And you're looking at you see that red arrow?
Yes.
It's pointing to his arm. There's a Band-Aid there. It says, observe the bandage on the right arm selected for dialysis. That's what they want you to see. That Arthur Leigh Allen was a dialysis patient. Okay. What if I were to tell you that you're looking at the same person right here?
Well, maybe if once he got older, but I wouldn't see it because
I don't either.
Mm-mm.
I don't either. It's labeled Arthur Leigh Allen. But I could tell you categorically, absolutely, the photo on the left is not Arthur Leigh Allen. Everything about that man is wrong. The mouth is wrong, the ears, the nose, the eyes, the hair, everything's wrong.
Especially the nose, you could see it.
Oh, this guy's nose looks like it's all over his face.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to watch because this is how the evidence is coming out. You know, you got to really watch and read. Oh, here we go. Another note from the Zodiac. This is the Zodiac speaking. I thought you would need a good laugh before you hear the bad news. You won't get the news for a little while yet. P.S. Could you paint this? Oh, could you paint this new siphon? I'm really and get your fully and get in. Oh God, whatever the hell he's writing. And when I'm okay, here we go. It says, can you paint a new siphon in your front page and get the layout.
Mm-hmm.
I got a faulty. It says I don't know what it is. I got a faulty, and then when I am ignored, so lonely, I would do my thing. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I guess when he's lonely.
In bold writing over here, it says, and I can't do a thing with it, and I don't know what that means. But that's Arthur Leigh Allen, Amelia.
Oh wow, that looks like somebody creepy.
He does. That's the same guy right there. That's the same guy. That's the movie Zodiac. I encourage everyone to see it. So you are now. Oh, now we're going back. Okay, so we're going to take it out. We're going back now. It's an interesting case. So let's talk about the Zodiac. Who do you think, in reading over all the case files, who do you think the most likely suspect candidate would be for Zodiac?
Well, I mean, looking over everything you've showed everyone, and a lot of people on the radio cannot see, but everything that we've talked about, I would say it would be Allen because of everything you said that they found, is the
Yeah.
hoodie and everything, and the only thing is what's I don't understand is that they said that the fingerprints didn't match, but back then, like you said, they did
Yeah.
not do the fingerprints.
Well, let's talk about something you mentioned earlier, or that we mentioned earlier,
Yes,
is that there are people who believe that Zodiac was more than one person.
correct.
I'll give you another. You just mentioned one of the key points.
Yes,
The fingerprints didn't match. Okay, guess what? On the ransom, the notes that he wrote, some of the notes matched and some didn't. Clearly, it's got to be two different people, or
three.
or someone copycatting the Zodiac. There's another very interesting aspect to this case we haven't talked about yet. A guy named Melvin Belli. Okay. Melvin Belli was an incredibly famous and wealthy lawyer in America at that time. He was on all the television shows. Him and F. Lee Bailey were like the most famous lawyers in the world. Zodiac wrote a letter to the television station in San Francisco. And he wanted Melvin Belli to come to the studio on a particular given date. And the Zodiac, was going to call him and talk to him. Now, no one ever explained why Zodiac wanted Melvin Belli. They never knew each other. He never represented him. It's just a voice on the phone. So, like, why would I want to call this guy? But they had to do it because he said, if you don't get Melvin Belli, I'm going to kill another person.
Wow.
The guy was ballsy. You got to give him credit. He was ballsy. Not in a good way, but, hey, look, ballsy's ballsy. The other thing interesting about this, and I think that it merits some discussion. Back in the day, television news was, it was in every household. Everybody watched the news. But newspapers were very, very popular. I think it's very interesting that even though he could access radio, he could access television, he could access politicians if he wanted to, the Zodiac chose to access the newspapers to do his communication through. I don't know, and no one's ever explained the connection between the newspapers and the Zodiac, other than he sent the newspapers a lot of clues. Apparently, he respected the newspaper people more than the police, is what I'm gathering from it. What do you think?
I think so too, because that way the newspapers actually listened to him more than the police did. They gave him more attention. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what it was, and I think that's what he was wanting. He was
I
wanting
think
attention.
and that's why I absolutely agree with you. I think that's exactly why. Because look, they gave him the attention he wanted.
Absolutely.
The cops put him on the back burner
Hmm. They
because
did.
the cops didn't take him serious.
Yes, exactly.
And then when he started outwitting the police, then it was a game of pissing contest. Now,
Like,
because
haha, I'm
now
ahead of
they're
you.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Crazy. It's really, really
Yes.
crazy. But I'm going to show that video one more time. I want everybody to take a look. Take a really good look at that.
Right down the bottom left. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to let this run. These are the faces of the Zodiac. The victims, the people he killed, the Zodiac himself.
It kind of looks like the sketch on the top of the right hand side top. That
Yeah,
guy.
well, this
one
guy
that says that.
still, there's something about Arthur Leigh Allen. There's something about him
Yeah.
that is still like this guy on the end over here doesn't look like nobody.
None. No one.
You know?
That's still spooky.
Yeah. That's a sniper hood. That's
Wow.
what that is. Yeah. And then we're at the end of it, just almost at the end of it. Here you go.
I'm just
There is no way that those are the same guys. Ain't no way.
It's
No
not.
way.
I'm just wondering also why, if I understand that the letters were printed in the newspaper, so that's why he kept doing it. I'm just wondering why he didn't contact a radio station and constantly call the radio station and say, "Hey, look,
I'll tell you why. That's easy. I'll tell you why. Because you can hold a newspaper in your hand.
Mhm.
Radio, you have to listen to it, and once it's gone, it's gone.
I
See this paper?
Yes,
I could hold this in my hand today,
and have
and I
it
can hold
forever.
it in my hand tomorrow or next week or next month. And if I save it, I can hold it till next year.
Right? Have it for a long time and look at it a year later.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true. Oh, that one looks identical a little bit. The one you showed before.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
Mhm.
that's a really bizarre kind of thing. So man, that's almost an hour. You
Oh,
realize that?
wow. I can't believe it's gone that far.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah.
working in behavioral
We
health,
actually started early tonight. We
we
started
did.
before 7:00.
Yeah.
So what do we got going next week? Tell everybody what's on the
It's
agenda.
actually regarding the Black Dahlia. Her name is Elizabeth Short.
Yes, Elizabeth Short.
1947 is when this case happened.
Tell everybody why this case is famous.
Well, she's a Hollywood hopeful, 22 years old. It was during the movie Blue Dahlia, actually. She wore a lot of black, and they thought that she was like a prostitute, but basically, she didn't want to be around men. She wanted to be more famous in Hollywood. So she wanted to get her stardom. She didn't want to do anything with men. She just wanted to be Miss Hollywood. And I can understand that, you know. And so
Yeah.
she just,
There's also something else about the Black Dahlia that people may
back in,
not know.
well, I don't want to reveal that as of yet, but she
Yes.
about her and men and women.
Yes. We'll talk about that next week.
Yes.
You know exactly where I was going to go with that.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
going to tip the hat, but Amelia put the kibosh on that one.
And well, let's just say she was a mama's girl. So her, you know,
Well,
in a
it
way.
all
We'll
depends
see.
on what you mean by mama.
We'll see.
Well, listen, kid. Great show tonight. Good show tonight.
Yes.
Before we go, I want to bring in. It says, Angelo, did you mention my pot tab? No, I'm going to do that right now. This is I'm gonna tell everybody who's on here right now.
Yes.
Our friend Kevin Abreu. Kevin is attempting to raise money for the Ronald McDonald House. Now, let me tell you what Kevin wants. And I want everybody out there, if you can help him to do this. You know those little tabs on the top of like soda cans? He wants them. If you have them, send them his way. You can find Kevin Abreu, Abreu. Kevin Abreu is on Facebook, and he is a friend of mine. He's a good kid, good guy. He just moved back here to New Jersey. I want everybody to send Kevin your soda can tabs and your beer can tabs. anything that's got a pull tab on it, send it to Kevin. You can find him on Facebook at Kevin Abreu. I think his middle name is, I'll find out for you right now. I think it might be Kevin A. Abreu. I'm not sure. So Kevin, if you're there, tell me what it is. And I'll tell everybody. This is Kevin right here. We call him Sports Fan 316. So that's Kevin, and he is Kevin Abreu on Facebook. Again, hit him up. Tell him that you're Angelo's friend from the show, and Kevin can use all of those can tabs for research they're doing at the Ronald McDonald House. They're trying to do. It's Kevin Mark Abreu on Facebook. And thank you, Kev. And send him all your tabs. Okay? Find him on Facebook. Find him through me. But he wants your help. He needs your help. He's going to do some work with the Ronald McDonald House. And he's a good kid.
Absolutely.
So how about that, Kevin? Did I put you over? All right. Well, listen.
Yes.
Until I see you next week for Amelia Pitbull Chapman, I am Angelo, the Mad Dog Decipio. We'll see you next time. Enjoy your weekend. Be good, everybody. Bye-bye.